Last Oasis doesn't suck anymore. If you participated in the test and you approached it as if it was the Last Oasis that we all knew, then you had a rough time. Cactus flesh is no longer your friend and more of something to use in desperation. 10 cactus flesh is equal to 1 water. A new item was added to make your water gathering easier. Problem is, a lot of people didn't even realize it was there either until it was too late or not at all. Thankfully, I streamed it after, it was already up for a couple hours, so people were telling me about it. But there was still people complaining about the water gathering because they only knew about the cactus flesh. Water refills at a faster rate, so thankfully it doesn't take too much water to refill your meter. However, it does drain rather quickly. Water is way more crucial to the game and a lot more unforgiving. No longer able to auto-drink from bottles, and the makeshift bottles only hold 2 water, rather than the 5 they did before. So you really have to be on top of maintaining your hydration. Those who watch my streams know how much I struggled with hydration before. Not that it was difficult, I just sucked at maintaining it. That being said, if you were able to stay on top of your water, you were fine. The next hurdle most people faced was harvesting. The grind do be strong in this test. As a solo, and going in blind with no direction, it felt like a grind just to get a firefly. Granted, I may have made the mistake of beelining it for the center of the map where you shouldn't be starting, so I faced hours of struggling to make sure I had enough wood and fiber to do anything. I'm sure it was easier for a group to get the swing of things, so after hours of harvesting fiber by hand, because I had no idea the flint was up on the ridges, I finally got the sickle, and the grind became a lot easier, but I was already burnt out. Eventually I got a firefly made, and set out to find dinghy parts. Before we get into that though, let's see what led up to this point. Finding schematics was fairly easy but sparse. Needing multiple schematics for a single full kit, or multiple schematics for an entire walker, was an adjustment, but a good change all around. The best way to get schematics was to kill Rupu. Oh boy, did that catch me off guard. The Rupu are no longer brain-dead smooth brains. They beefed up the AI, and I love it. The Rupu actually have combat strat now, with groups that have Rupu that push you while the harassers throw pointy sticks at you. So while under that sort of pressure, the Rupu try to circle around and flank you, which is great prep for new players to get ready for PvP. If you're rocking cloth armor most of the time, you're gonna be mopped. The jabs take a crazy amount of damage, and it can go really bad really fast. Once you have some Rupu armor, that damage does get negated quite a bit. Not that I got to experience that very much. I eventually set out for the dingus parts and ran into a crowd that was rolling the areas to get that loot. I had my fun with them, but I had to go my separate way. You can only split meager loot, 5-6 ways. It's only so much. It's one of the reasons why I roll solo. I'm a greedy bitch. Last Oasis will no longer be the land of rats and zergs. There will be zergs still, but it's gonna be a lot harder to kit out a clan now. The adjustments to the grapple is going to nerf the ability to rat around severely, and I'm oh so thankful for it. Grapples no longer give us the ability to be a nomadic Spider-Man. You have to be much more deliberate with it. I tried using that like we would before, and oh was I struggling. You can still swing with it and get momentum, but climbing like we did before is not a thing. At least with the first grapple that's accessible. It is now a climbing tool rather than a swinging tool. The stamina drain is much more severe. They put in a delay between when you can grapple, and the range is so much less. I may sound upset about it, but really this is great for the health of the game. Players are actually going to be forced to use walkers. I can't wait. All I've wanted from this game is to have more PvP ship battles, and Season 5 is going to be filled with that. As for the weather, I didn't really experience too much of its brutality, but it's a welcome addition. I've heard people dying in the middle of a storm and whatnot, and losing their equipment, it being blown away. I never ended up in that situation, so I have nothing to speak of or show about that. The game actually feels like a survival game. Really all that it needs is a proper tutorial so players aren't so blind to the changes. Granted, this was a beta branch test, so that's not to be expected, but feedback is feedback. Seems most people didn't like the harvesting grind, according to the poll, so if you participated and haven't voted yet, links down below, go do that. There's no deadline on it. Anywho, join the Discord so you can keep up with what's going on. Catch me live on Twitch with Last Oasis and some other games. And thank you for watching. Make the most of your day.
غريب